Taylor Swift taps Coco Gauff for $50 million Nike campaign, citing Alexandra Eala's quiet confidence as inspiration. It began with a whisper, not a roar. In a world where fame often comes with noise, screaming fans, flashing cameras, and viral headlines, Alexandra Eala had always stood apart. The 20-year-old tennis prodigy from the Philippines wasn't known for grand gestures or fiery speeches. Instead, she had built her reputation through something rarer, something that resonated deeply with those who understood true greatness: quiet confidence. When Taylor Swift, global icon, 12-time Grammy winner, and the face of modern empowerment, was asked in an interview what inspired her newest creative project, she didn't mention another pop star or Hollywood actress. She mentioned Eala. "There's something magnetic about Alexandra's stillness," Taylor said. "It's not about arrogance. It's about grace under fire. She knows who she is, and that's power." That single statement sent shockwaves through both the music and sports industries, and it planted a seed that would grow into one of the most revolutionary campaigns in Nike history, a $50 million collaboration that would unite Taylor Swift, Coco Gauff, and the spirit of Alexandra Eala into a movement celebrating confidence in all its forms. The spark in the arena. Coco Gauff was in Tokyo when the news broke. She had just won a tight 3-set match at the Japan Open, her face glistening with sweat, her mind still buzzing with adrenaline. As she sat in the locker room scrolling through her phone, a headline flashed before her eyes. Taylor Swift taps Coco Gauff for $50 million Nike campaign, inspired by Alexandra Eala's quiet confidence. Her heart skipped. Then she smiled. For Coco, this wasn't just another endorsement deal. It was a calling. She had been a Swiftie for as long as she could remember. When she was 13, she used a blast Shake It Off before every junior match, dancing the mirror with her racket like a microphone. Now, 6 years later, Taylor Swift herself had chosen her as the face of something far bigger than sport. Confidence, Coco whispered to herself. But not loud, not proud, quiet. That word echoed in her head like a mantra. Because while Coco was known for her fierce athleticism and high-voltage energy, she understood that the truest confidence wasn't in the roar. It was in the stillness before the serve, in the calm before the storm, in the unshakable belief that you belong. The Nike Summit. Nike's global headquarters in Beaverton buzzed with electric anticipation. Taylor Swift's arrival always drew a crowd, but this was different. Executives, designers, and media personnel filled the Innovation Hall, where a stage gleamed beneath the lights. Taylor walked in wearing an understated black trench coat, white sneakers, and her signature red lipstick. Beside her walked Coco Gauff, tall, athletic, radiating youth and strength, and behind them, displayed on a massive screen, was an image of Alexandra Eala mid-serve. Focused, graceful, unbreakable. The campaign name appeared next. The Power of Quiet. Taylor took the mic. "We've all been told to speak louder, push harder, shine brighter. But what if confidence doesn't need volume? What if the strongest statement is silence? The kind that says, I don't need to prove anything." Coco nodded, taking her turn. "When I step on court, I'm not thinking about being loud. I'm thinking about being certain, about knowing my worth. And that's what this campaign is about, believing in yourself even when no one's watching." The audience erupted in applause. Behind the scenes, Nike's creative director whispered to a journalist, "Taylor, Coco, and Alexandra represent 3 faces of modern power, artistic, athletic, and spiritual. Together, they redefine what it means to be unstoppable." The photo shoot. The campaign's first photo shoot took place in Los Angeles, a minimalist warehouse transformed into a visual poem. No extravagant lights, no overdone sets. Just shadows, soft natural light, and 3 women channeling their inner calm. Coco stood on a tennis court painted entirely in matte white. She wore the new Nike Swift line gear, a sleek fusion of performance fabric and streetwear aesthetics. The outfit was co-designed by Taylor and inspired by Alexandra's signature simplicity on court, muted blues, silver accents, and a single word printed on the back: still. Taylor sat by the court with her guitar, watching as Coco tossed the ball into the air. Click, flash, silence. The photographer captured it all: the motion, the balance, the serenity. Later that evening, Taylor turned to Coco during a quiet moment. You know what I love about Alexandra? She said softly. She doesn't need to announce she's great. She just is. And that makes her unforgettable. Coco smiled. That's the kind of greatness I want too. Alexandra's reaction. When Alexandra Eala received the news that her quiet demeanor had inspired the world's biggest pop star and one of its brightest tennis prodigies. She was training in Cebu under the humid Philippine sun. Her coach handed her the phone. You need to see this, he said. She watched the campaign teaser. Taylor's voice narrating. Confidence isn't loud. It's calm. It's steady. It's quiet. But it moves mountains. And then she saw herself on screen, her name appearing beneath Coco's image, her influence acknowledged in front of millions. Tears welled up in her eyes, not from pride, but from gratitude. She never sought fame, only excellence. But to know that her quiet grace had inspired others, that was something beyond achievement. She later posted on Instagram, to be seen for who you truly are, quietly, authentically, is the greatest honor. Thank you, Taylor. The legacy. Months later, the campaign continued to echo. The world had changed in subtle but profound ways. Music journalists called Taylor's Unbreakable Silence her most introspective song yet. Sports writers hailed Coco as the voice of a new generation of athletes who win with dignity. And Alexandra, now a top 50 player, became an icon of poise for millions. Nike's profits surged, yes. But more importantly, young people around the globe began embracing a new kind of heroism. No longer the loudest, no longer the flashiest, but the calmest, the most centered, the most authentic. And somewhere in a Manila training court, Alexandra Eala served another ace, not for fame, but for peace of mind, while her voice, steady and sure, whispered the campaign's mantra to herself. Quiet isn't weakness. Quiet is power. A song for stillness. Taylor Swift closed the campaign's farewell concert in Los Angeles with one final performance. The lights dimmed, and she spoke to the crowd of 80,000. This campaign started with a whisper from a young woman who didn't need the world to see her to know her worth. It reminded me that sometimes the loudest sound is the one that comes from within. She strummed the opening chords of Unbreakable Silence. Coco and Alexandra stood in the front row, smiling, tears glimmering. The lyrics floated through the night. I don't need to scream to shake the ground. My quiet heart is the loudest sound. In stillness I stand. In silence I rise. The power of quiet. Look in my eyes. As the music faded and the crowd erupted, the world seemed to understand a truth it had long forgotten. Confidence isn't the noise you make. It's the peace you carry. And with that, Taylor, Coco, and Alexandra had written not just a campaign, but a legacy. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.